much for joining me. I know that it's late where you are, or possibly early morning. It's 11 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm very grateful for you jumping on live. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tune in later and check out the tutorial. So the amazing team at Balloonland have actually asked me today to share with you my organic, I call this my organic lace trim technique. What I have is an 18-inch foil heart from Qualitex, and I'm using the rose gold today. This technique can be applied to any type of foil. So I've done it on 9-inch foils, I've done it on 9 to big 3-foot foils, and it doesn't have to be a heart. But I just think that this accentuates the shape of the heart by adding this trim. So we're going to use the heart today. So I'm just using a hand pump to air inflate our foil. So I'll be careful not to overinflate it too much. We have quite hot and humid temperatures here in Queensland. Similar to Mexico. So yeah, the foil balloons expanding is certainly something that we have to be mindful of. So what I've done is I've air inflated our foil balloon. I made sure that the barcode or UPC code is actually on the back, and we're going to get our stretchy balloon tape, and I've pre-cut some pieces, and I'm just going to tape the tail up nice to keep it nice and tidy. So we'll get rid of these. Pull the tail back. Now I'm really lucky today that one of my awesome staff members, Chelsea, is doing our camera work for us, so she'll be able to feature a little bit more of actually what I'm doing hands-on, so hopefully you'll be able to see the detail. So I've taped the tag up like this to get rid of that and secure that, and then we're going to be using this as the face of the balloon, so we don't want to be seeing our mechanics behind it. The whole art or trick, magic trick to creating this trim is that we place 260s, uninflated 260s, and we tape them around the edges, and that's what we use to secure our organic balloons to. So today I've got some blush. As long as the colour's not, you know, too much different, you could use rose gold, but blush or diamond clear always works well. And what I do is I actually get rid of all of the air out of the balloon. So I've squeezed my fingers along down to the nozzle, and then I'm just going to tie right at the end. And that creates this really nice flat 260. So we need 2 of these for a 18-inch foil. So we'll do one more and tie that off. And then we're actually going to tie these together. So we get double the length. All right, so we're going to start at the top of our heart, which is here. And we're going to use the H method of securing with stretchy balloon tape. So just going to put the knots off to the side so that we have a nice flat area that we're going to be taping on. We get our first bit of tape. Now you might be wondering, can you use other tapes to do this? The tape that you're using has to be very strong and reliable. So I trust stretchy balloon tape to be very, very secure on foil balloons. And so now that we've got our piece across the 260, we place another piece on the end and a third piece on this end. Now we wouldn't want to put too much pressure on this right now, but within about a minute or so, this will be exceptionally secure, very, very strong. So that's the first contact point. Now we're going to try and keep these nice and flat, and we're going to tie these 2 ends together. And then we're going to stretch this around to the base of our foil. Now it doesn't matter where this sits because this is going to be hidden by our balloons that we're going to add on later. Now down the bottom we do exactly the same thing. So we're going to do the H method and using 3 pieces of stretchy tape one along that end, and the last one here. Okay, now we have two other points that we want to secure, and they are one on either side. Now this just helps for this not to slip off too much as we're adding our balloons on. But we don't want the tape to be quite this wide. So I've actually cut a piece of stretchy balloon tape up the middle to create two strips. I hope everybody can see this. Chelsea's doing a fabulous job of getting the detail. All right, and so on here, hold this and just pull a little. It's called stretchy balloon tape for a reason. It does actually have quite a bit of stretch. If you are going to use any of the other chrome colors, then the 7-inch makes this much easier. However, we won't let that get in our way. So what we do is, given that chrome balloons are so beautiful and soft, we overinflate them. Now you would use, hopefully, a pump, but it would be a little noisy for me to use today. So we inflate them to full size. You can overinflate them a little, and then we let the air out. Okay, until we end up with this. Now I have noticed if we do a copper versus a rose gold in here, okay, not too much more than that. And we're gonna tie nice and close to the nozzle of the balloon, okay? And then we need to make sure that we try and get this neck in the middle, and we're going to give it a really good twist. So 3 or 4 times, and we end up with a duplet. So we actually want to use this neck, and this is where it takes practice. I might not even get this right the first time. Let's see how I go. But now these are so soft and so underinflated, but they're very, very strong. So now you can take your duplet and make it into a quad. To the middle, you'll see that our bubbles end up a little smaller, which is great. This is about the size that we want for this design. And then, so now that we have a couple of our little clusters, our little organic clusters, we're going to start attaching them around our edge. So all I do is make sure I've got access to the neck. I place it on the foil. The neck goes underneath our 260 and back up to secure the first one, okay? Now the important step with all of the ones after that is that we use the neck to wrap it into the one beside it, which creates a good tension between them and helps them all to nestle and sit together nicely. So this one, I'm going to place it approximately where we want it. We're going to take the neck underneath our 260. We're going to wrap it in. It's got a bit of air in this one, so it's creating another little bubble. And then we're going to pull the neck to the next one. And now they're beautiful and snug. Finish off the design. And I also just have a really simple base that we're going to put it onto. So with this one, once again, because we don't have the 7-inch chrome available in these colors as yet, we have used the 11-inch. And so to make sure that we get some good shine and color through when we're underinflating 11-inch, I inflate it slightly more than the size that I'm after, let a bit out, and then give it a really good squeeze and a twist. Now you end up with this kind of strange shape, okay? But while it's twisted, you want to take the big long neck that you've got and tie above your fingers so that the bulb of the balloon or the body of the balloon is pushed really nice and tight. And then I've got a water weight. So I've just pre-inflated the balloon, let the air out, and then added some water and tied that off nice and tight. Some people would do 2 balloons to give it that extra strength, but this is so underinflated that, yeah, it would be very hard to pop that. So we're just gonna wrap our water weight into our base. And then we're going to just move out to the side some of our balloons to sort of create 5, but it's still organic because the sizes are different. And then we've got a whole heap of necks left over here that we're going to use to wrap into our foil. So this is where I could probably do with another set of hands, but Chelsea's a bit busy. So I'm going to try and get this neck through my 260, which I can. Sorry guys, I know I'm doing this the wrong way around. And once we've got it through, we can wrap our neck back into the base. And then move our balloons so that it sits nicely. Now, because we've got a whole heap of different shapes and sizes here, you may find that it doesn't sit very well to start with. So what we may have to do is just add a balloon or two into the base to get it to sit. Now, in order to get the base to sit nicely, what I'm going to do is just do a really quick cord them down. So that's it. I can't see if I get them all the same size. This should sit nicely. So easy to apply with the seven computers of the not quite yet. Double result. Doesn't know where we start. Doesn't necessarily we start. I generally start the first half of the curve, but not doesn't know where we start. As long as what we're doing back is the last one, do that one. Let's see how it goes. The other thing with the water weight too, and why I quite often use a quick link, is because the bulb of the water weight sits down quite low under your cluster, and so then your design ends up rocking. So I find if you use an 12-inch quick link, you've actually got 2 tie points and it sits up a lot more flat underneath your cluster. Let's see if we can